After a week off, it's time for another edition of the Fulton Football Preview here from the WKCS Radio Studios. This is Russell Mays, joined by the head coach of the Fulton Falcons, Justin Long, as the Fulton Falcons on Friday night will be back at Bob Black Field. It'll be senior night as they take on the Carter Hornets in an extremely important game in Region 2 4A. Coach Long, last week was a bye week for the Falcons. What were some of the things that you focused on during the week off?
Yeah, got back in the weight room, was able to get in the weight room some. Happy we were able to do that. Was able to give some young guys some live reps in practice and be evaluated and be coached and, try to see who, in this next game, who we think will be able to give us some reps, maybe in a backup role or in a rotation. We were proud of that. And then just to try to, get off our feet a little bit. And, I think we took 2 days off and just try to give our guys a little bit of rest and try to heal up a bit.
And that is one of the challenges of dealing with a bye week, especially at this time of the year. It's the balance of trying to keep your guys rested, but also trying to keep them sharp.
Right. And that's definitely something you take into consideration. I would have loved to give the guys the entire week off, but with a big region game versus Carter coming up, we just couldn't do that. So we just focus on blocking and tackling like we always do, and just tried to make sure the main thing was the main thing.
Friday night at Bob Black Field, the Falcons will be taking on the Carter Hornets. And Coach, this is a Carter football team that has blown out the Falcons the last 2 years and those games at Carter. And they bring a very athletic football team, but also a team with a huge offensive line.
Oh, they're so big up front, and that keeps you up at night. And then they've got some guys that are explosive. They've been able to have some explosive plays this year. And it'll be a really tough test for us Friday, and I'm excited, and I think our guys are excited.
And it's a very impressive group of playmakers that Carter has.
Oh, absolutely. You look across their guys, it's not just one guy. It's definitely not just one guy, and they've been able to lean on people and move the ball here recently, and again, it is going to be a huge test.
What are some of the keys for the Falcons for Friday night for them to have success?
We need to try to make their quarterback uncomfortable. Even if we can't sack him, we need to try to be in his face. We need to try to stop the running game and control the line of scrimmage on defensively. And then offensively, we need to be able to establish the line of scrimmage, run the football, and then try to take our shots when we can.
Tomorrow night will be senior night at Bob Black Field. It's not the last home game of the regular season, but just because it's the last Friday night home game, we decided to have senior night, and this is definitely a very special group of seniors. 20 names on the roster that will be recognized before the game on Friday. And this is a group that you have some guys that have been a part of the program and have played a lot of football for 3 or 4 years, and then also you had some new guys come into the program that contributed this year.
Yeah, definitely both ends of the spectrum, and I personally, just as the new guy around here, I just want to thank those guys and just tell them how much I appreciate them buying into the program. Would have been easy for them to just kind of say, man, kick rocks and let's get out of here, and we're not going to listen to anything you have to say, but they've been great, and I appreciate what they mean. And we're still climbing. And again, you mentioned how many guys have been around, and guys that have just come out this year. I think they all have found a role, and they've all kind of found a niche. And hopefully we can continue to grow in our roles and make this thing as special as we can. And I would love to send them out with a victory tomorrow night.
And when there is a coaching change, that's always one of the most important groups to get on your side is the group of seniors, and they quickly got invested in what was going on.
Yeah, absolutely. From day one, a lot of them from day one. A few of them we still had some mountains to climb and a few things to get worked out. But I think once they realize that, hey man, we're on your team, and I say this a lot to those guys. It's whatever you want to accomplish, I want that for you, man. If you want to be All-State, I want that for you. If you want to, you want 5-star preps or prep extra or whomever writing articles about how great you are, I want that for you. You want to get recruited, so I want them to know that I'm on their team. But, if we got to coach you hard to try to get you there, we're definitely willing to do that.
So 20 seniors will be recognized before the game against Carter. Two of those guys that have had outstanding years, and there's been a lot of seniors who have played big roles on this football team have been Albert Johnson and Derek Smith, and both of those guys getting some recognition as Mr. Football nominations are getting ready to go out. Tell us a little bit about both of those guys, starting off with Derek Smith.
Yeah, I think Derek from day one has talked about some of the goals he's had, and this being one of them. And I told him, hey, buddy, we'll do everything we can to try to get you there. And he's just been just really consistent. You know, he's been one guy on our team that's been, you know, he hadn't really ridden any emotional roller coasters. You know, his play jumps off the chart. I've had multiple coaches tell me just how great of a player he is, and the way he can change the game on offense, defense, special teams. But I've just been so proud of who he is off the field, his leadership, trying to hold guys accountable, trying to do things the right way, you know, in school, and just trying to be the guy that does it all, right? That, you know, some people say, you know, that he's just consistent in every way. And, you know, I'm just glad of who he is and proud of who he is, and he is a phenomenal football player.
And a guy that went over the 2,000-yard rushing mark in the win over Seymour for his career, Albert Johnson.
Albert Johnson, you know, one thing I like about Al is just he's really driven to be good. You know, he doesn't really take any days off. If anybody were to come watch Al practice, he'll run the football and then he'll take off for like 20 yards down the field to really finish the play. And I never asked him to do that. I don't know when he started doing that, but that's just who he is, and he's really big on being a finisher. And he is a very talented guy. He's really bought into being a pass protector, you know, not just running it, but being the complete running back. And I've just been proud of him. And, you know, the last 5 or 6 weeks, he's been holding guys accountable. And again, you know, when your best guys are trying to do things the right way, your program is going in the right direction.
So if coaches, members of the media are watching, we certainly hope that you'll consider Albert Johnson and Derek Smith on your Mr. Football ballots.
For sure.
Friday night, it's the Fulton Falcons and the Carter Hornets at Bob Black Field. Kickoff at 7 o'clock. Senior night ceremonies will take place before the game, Coach. It's going to be extremely important to have a big Fulton crowd at the game on Friday night.
Please come out and support. You know, these seniors have meant a lot to our program, and they're really trying to finish this thing off the right way as far as the regular season. So we would really appreciate if you all would come out and support us, and give us a big crowd. Be there early, be loud, support the Falcons and support this team.
It's a big game for Fulton in Region 2-4A, the Fulton Falcons and the Carter Hornets, Friday night from Bob Black Field. We hope to see you there. If you just can't make it, we'll have the broadcast on WKCS Radio and also on the WKCS Radio YouTube channel. For the head coach of the Fulton Falcons, Justin Long, this is Russell May saying thanks for watching this week's edition of the Fulton Football Preview.